Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a closer look at the Gamo PR-776 Revolver, a powerful and realistic CO2 air pistol designed for both target practice and recreational shooting. This revolver features a 177 caliber 8-shot rotary magazine powered by a 12-gram CO2 cartridge, giving you consistent shots with a velocity of up to 426 feet per second. It comes with a 6-inch rifled steel barrel, delivering improved accuracy, while the full metal construction provides a solid, realistic weight in the hand. Measuring around 11.5 inches in total length and weighing roughly about 2.1 grams, the PR-776 feels just like a real revolver. Ease of use is a strong point here. You can fire in both single action and double action modes, and the loading system is quick and straightforward, making it beginner friendly while still satisfying for experienced shooters. A quick background in the company: Gamo was founded in Spain in the 1950s and has since grown to become one of the largest manufacturers of air guns and pellets worldwide. With decades of innovations, they are especially known for combining accuracy, affordability, and durability. Today, Gamo products are sold in over 90 countries, trusted by shooters everywhere for quality and performance. So stick around as we test out the PR-776 on the range, break down its features, and see how well it performs. So I tested out the Gamo PR-776, and the very first shots produced irregular FPS results such as 72, 405, 441, 270, and 100 FPS, along with multiple error readings. These inconsistencies can be explained by several factors. The first one is first-time CO2 discharge effect. The PR-776 was being fired for the first time during the test. When a fresh CO2 cartridge is pierced, the initial burst of gas may be unstable, leading to abnormally high or low chronograph readings. Proximity to chronograph sensor. The muzzle was positioned too close to the chronograph opening. This allowed excess CO2 gas expelled from the barrel to interfere with the light sensors, resulting in errors or artificially inflated deflated velocity numbers. Sensor misreadings. Rapid CO2 expansion in the first shots can create turbulence around the pellet as it exits, which sometimes confuses the chronograph's optical sensors, producing error messages or inaccurate readings. So after a few adjustments, particularly by moving the revolver's muzzle slightly further from the chronograph hole and ensuring the pellet's path was correctly aligned, the results stabilized. From shot number 16 onwards, the revolver produced consistent velocities in the 339 to 356 FPS range. So this demonstrates that the Gamo PR-776 performs reliably once the chronograph setup is properly aligned, and the CO2 pressure stabilizes after the first few shots. The Gamo PR-776 Revolver averages in the mid-340 FPS range, with consistent readings after the initial CO2 discharge settled. The regular early readings can be attributed to first-time cartridge puncture, excess CO2 gas interfering with sensors, and incorrect muzzle placement relative to the chronograph. With correct positioning and after the CO2 stabilizes, the revolver delivers reliable and repeated velocities suitable for both target shooting and practice. This statistical result confirms that the Gamo PR-776 Revolver maintains an average velocity in the mid-360 FPS range, with some natural variation due to CO2 pressure drop and shooting conditions. The standard deviation of plus or minus 40 FPS reflects expected fluctuations for a CO2-powered revolver, but overall consistency is demonstrated once the chronograph setup was corrected. By the way, I was using H&M Sport 177 caliber 8.18 grain pellets. So one thing I noticed about the Gamo PR-776 when I first got it are the rails. You've got a top rail and above the barrel, and another one underneath the barrel shroud, which at first seems perfect for adding a red dot, a laser, or maybe a flashlight. But there's the catch. These rails measure around 8mm in width, which is kind of an odd size. They're not your standard 11mm dovetail and definitely not the 22 Picatinny or river sized rail that we're used to. That means most common mounts or accessories won't fit right out of the box. So if you're planning to mount a red dot sight or other attachments, it's going to take some DIY work, shims, or even custom adapters to make it fit securely. Honestly, this is one of the downsides of the PR-776. And I'll admit, when I first realized this, it actually made me hesitate a bit about buying it. I was asking myself, do I really want a revolver that needs extra work just to mount a sight? But at the same time, the overall build, the accuracy, the feel of the PR-776 kind of made me look past that. For me, it was worth it, but someone who wants plug-and-play accessories, this might be a deal breaker. So yeah, if you're thinking about getting this revolver, keep in mind that you might need to do a little tinkering if you want to kit it out with optics or lights. So after waiting for what I felt like forever, I finally got my hands on the Gamo PR-776 Revolver. I actually bought it from Han Manila online store for around 17,000 pesos or $298 because of the tariffs and import costs. Anyway, what's crazy is that Han last stocked this revolver back in 2023 and I wasn't fast enough to pull the trigger on it then. By the time I had made up my mind, it was already sold out. So yeah, I ended up waiting for 2 full years before finally restocking it in 2025. You can imagine how hyped I was when I finally became available again. Now, if you're planning to pick one up, I'd highly recommend also grabbing a few extra rotary magazines. Each mag only holds 8 rounds, and once you start shooting, you'll realize how fast you go through them. Having spares ready really keeps the fun going. Performance-wise, I'm getting about 60 good shots per CO2 cartridge, which is solid for backyard plinking. And honestly, that's what this revolver is perfect for. It's fun, reliable, and feels like you're holding a real steel revolver. As for accuracy, I was genuinely impressed. Even with just the iron sights, I was able to get tight groupings, and that's while firing shots quickly back to back without giving the CO2 time to settle back at room temperature. The rifle steel barrel really helps here. So yeah, after waiting 2 years, was it worth it? For me, absolutely. Between the build quality, accuracy, and pure shooting fun, I'd say the PR-776 is a solid buy, especially if you can catch it at a discounted price like I did. And after a few weeks, I tried it again. I tried shooting it again on a bench rest, and you can see for yourself how tight the groupings were. I was trying to adjust the sights, and it came out very nice. So here's a size comparison for the revolver against the Umorex Smith & Wesson MP45 2.0. You can see that it has a barrel that's about 1 inch longer. That's it for my PR-776 review. Accurate, fun, and worth the wait. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy shooting!